Hi guys, Redneck Computer Geek here, and today we're setting up our Skywalker trampoline. It's a 15-foot wide trampoline, and the stakes, which currently apparently Riley tore hers up, are in order to mark the outside of where it's going to be. We've got John, and we've got Madison, and we've got Riley standing here, just so you can get a good perspective as to how big this is going to be. The other aspect is, I'm 6'1", and standing here in the center of where we want our trampoline, we have this nice oak branch sitting over the top of us. So we're going to start up the chainsaw. We're going to clean all of this out. You want to remember that your stand that the trampoline is on is 3 foot tall. Your tent itself around the outside is 6 foot tall. That makes it 9 foot, which means that if I put my hands up, it's about a foot over the top of where I'm reaching right now. So anything like this, you got to be aware of. The recommended from a lot of people that set up these trampolines is to measure from the ground 12 feet up, if possible, for a good jump. So we're going to get the generator started, get our Remington tree saw started, and we're going to take out a few branches. Thanks, guys. Get out of here. Go. For those of you that are longtime subscribers, yes, this is the original generator from the original generator review video. I love them. It's great. You should pick one up. So we had one minor moment, nothing too major. Gonna chop this up and clean it. Then we'll get to pulling the packages out. Alright, so when you order this up, you're gonna end up with 2 boxes. And whoever your UPS driver is, or whoever delivers this, you really should leave them a nice $20 tip at least. Each of these boxes is basically 70 pounds. So I'm gonna grab the camera, we're gonna unbox these, see what's inside each package so we know what we're working with. The second box on this got beat to snot. A lot of the Amazon reviews seem to indicate that this is a normal thing. I don't know what's in this, but apparently the packaging doesn't hold up very well. So we're going to grab the camera and see what we can do here. Alright, so like I said, this first box is pretty intact and works good. I mean, looks good, sorry. Now, there doesn't seem to be a real open here guide on this, like you see on a lot of other heavy boxes, but it looks as if we cut the bottom, we should be able to drop it out. So this right here is why it is you always want to be really careful when you're cutting into boxes of this nature, because there it looks like is the outside of the trampoline area. See if we can roll this out. There we are. And, whoop, trampoline instructions.
Probably should take a look at those. And we got some foam padding that looks like it's supposed to be as thin as squished as it is. Yep. And looks like we got a lot of the bars on the inside of this first box. And that looks to be what was supposed to be padding. Oh, and there's all your end caps there. And these look to be the tops for the safety net. And whatever that cute little random screw is. Oh, looks like there's a bunch of that that's broken open. We'll have to look into there later. Alright, let's see what's in the second box while we're at it. So here we are. Looks like box number 2 is the actual bouncing mat itself. I'm going to flip that out here. And not sure what those are. Oh, that must be the fold-out basketball hoops. Now, some of the reviews said it only came with 1. Other reviews said it came with 2. It must just be which series you're running. And these, I'm betting, are the hardware. Oh yeah, that feels like bolts. That sounds like bolts. Yep, that sounds like bolts too. Yep. That answers the question, what kind of basketball? It's a little foam junky basketball. But, you know, it's a freebie add-on, just a sales gimmick, so I'm not too worried about that. And looks like the base of that survived pretty good. These look like the base bars here. Those are sandbags or something. Bean bags. They must be for another game that came with it. Maybe that's why it had 2 hoops according to people. Alright, so we're going to pop open the directions, see if we can't figure out the basic layout, and then go from there. So basically when you're dealing with this, you're going to see that there's 2 different style ends, and you need these every other. And this piece here needs to go on the outside. Now if you read their directions, it basically tells you to assemble this upside down and then flip the whole thing. Well, it's 15 feet wide. There's no way I can see flipping it by myself. So I'm building it like this with them down, and we'll see whether it bites me in the rear later on. But essentially you just take these, you set them in, and set it with your spring side going up, and it just slides one inside the other. Now, there's nothing holding this here for fasteners and everything, and that's because once the springs are pulling in on all sides, it acts like the spokes of a tire and it holds it all together in place. So we're going to finish off the last one and then start adding on the legs and everything. Now I'm quite sure there's some technical way you're supposed to put these together, but there doesn't seem to be anything in the directions about lubing these up or anything. So what I discovered was a good old-fashioned UGG stick, and just tap it while you're pushing in. There we are. So under the watchful guise of my 2 supervisors and a cat, I ended up starting to put these together, and I ended up using these self-tapping stainless steels. They're 3/4 inch 10/16s. And the reason why is because this is what they sent. They're just regular Phillips heads. And these rot out really quick up here in Maine. I don't know what these are made out of, but they're in all these exterior furniture pieces. So I always replace them with these stainless steel self-tappers. The other thing is Skywalker, I don't know what kind of package this was inside the box, but these were all exploded over my first box, and there were supposed to be 24 of them, and there were only 15. So what we've got to do here is you got to take this hole here, and you just slide this across, trying to do this one-handed. There we go. Line that hole up and drop that in. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those to make.
Okay, so I ended up realizing I read the directions incorrectly, so I do want to clarify. Basically, what the directions want you to do is to assemble the 6 different leg pieces and then take a 2-piece section of the edge, put the legs into it, and then take each of those 6 pieces and assemble them together into the circle. Now, that would be all well and good if I had like 4 well-abled adults to work with so that each one could hold a section and try and patch it together, but this is my help, so I'm trying to go and do this in a way I can do by myself. So I've assembled the whole ring, and what I'm going to do is lift up on one side, set a set of legs in underneath. Now, when you do these legs, you do need to notice that the legs are keyed. One side has a hole that corresponds to the inside holes on the inside of the ring. So, if I was putting this over there and my holes are here, it would go this direction on the outside. So I'm going to see if I can set these on, going around, so I can do it by myself. No, we have the leg here. No leg. Leg here. Make sure you're going to key in where you need to go. That one's going to need an Ooga Booga stick. There we go. Alright, so we got a couple of the joints that we need to tune up and just tighten up or loosen a bit. And then we need to go around the entire inside edge and put the self-tappers in or the screws that were provided. Like I said, I upgraded to stainless steel because this is Maine that we live in. We're going to get that done. Should be all set after that to do the next step.
Ball! Ball!
Yeah, I know, there's a ball. It's going to go with the trampoline. I guess you'll have to wait and find out. So the directions basically say find the jump mat and unroll it in the center. So we're just going to see what we got here. Looks like this goes to one side. And that line over there looks like it's the center line. So John, take this side that way. So we're going to pull this way. And looks like this unfolds. Well, that's interesting. It looks like the net is actually inside this rolled up section. So we're going to have to be careful to roll it that way. Yep, keep pulling. Keep pulling. Here we go. No, that's the way it goes. Oh, careful. Okay, stop before you mess it up. See, you messed up this edge. So, when you're doing this, you want to watch out and not pull on the edges anywhere you don't have to. Because you have to actually get all of these little triangular turnbuckles through the side of the netting. And it comes pre-assembled that way. So in the future, you want to try not to go and mess these up.
Yeah, don't want to like walk and then
Okay, so what you're going to have here is where you have your regular T-joint, you're going to have your warning label. You're going to pick one side or the other, and you're going to pop in your spring. Now on the other side, you're going to find a matching warning label. So I have put mine on the right of the T-joint, so I'm going to go to the other side and put it to the right of the T-joint on that side. That gives your counting mark in order to be able to count off 12 in whichever direction you decide to go for adding springs. So yet again, we went to the right side, so therefore we're going to go to the right side on this joint. And you got to remember on these springs, they're directional. There's a loop, and then there's a hook. The loop goes in, the hook goes out. So now we're going to count off 12 spaces and put our next one. So there we are. If you did it correctly, you end up coming back around for 12 on this, and you start counting 12 again. Now what I do is I take, when I hit the 12, I set that over so it marks it, and then I count my rings back out through. The trick to that though is that you hook this on first, and you pull this over using the hook in order to mount it.
It's raining.
So I'm not going to lie, I wrench a lot. I can lift a pretty decent amount for my size. This is tiring. I'm really starting to feel it in my biceps. I'm really starting to pull right here on the back of my shoulder. I think I can probably get it done, but this definitely is more than a one-person job to do right. So basically you start off every 12, you go every 6, then you go every 3, and now it's just a matter of filling in all the way around until you're done. If you do it this way, then you don't have to fight back and forth. It makes it a nice even pull all the way across. So now we just do every other all the way around, and then the very last row all the way around. So there we go. I'll check the footage to see exactly how long that took me to do. That definitely is a job that would be better suited for a couple of grown adults to do because it's quite tedious. This little itty bitty tool, if I had really been free thinking about it, I probably would have welded a piece of pipe or something on it to make it more pulp hookish to pull on. Would have been nicer to work with. You can buy these aftermarket. They were like $8 on Amazon. If I had to do this again, I would have paid the $8. So we're going to see what it takes to put the exterior cage up and go from there. Okay, so it looks like this exterior piece is some sort of strange origami, just like the centerfold was. And it seems that I can just pull it out across and get it to unfold, and then maybe pull back across. These little straps that go in here, they're like, the kids like straps for sizing up their pants and things like that. If you've ever dealt with one-size-fits-all kids' pants. Yeah. I'm sure somebody will put in the comments what I'm trying to say. So there we are, we squared from one joint to the other, and now we're just going to pull it across and see if we can unfold it. They recommend in the directions to do this without putting the netting up, and the reason being is because this is all one piece, and you got to fold it over the top of everything. So you couldn't do it if you had the net up. Alright, so I messed up earlier. I'm going to show you how I messed up. I'm going to fix it later because I want to get the cage on this thing and let the kids be able to have some jump time. So, where this square piece is where this split should have been. So, I should have had one of the split sections over the top of this square. That way the net would come up through. I didn't realize that until afterwards. It won't take me much to go through, undo the ones I've already tied in, and rotate this once the net's on. So we're going to move on to getting the net on. Alright, so I managed to get all 6 of these put together, and what's interesting is that it shows you the bolt going through the top of here with the plastic wing nut side on it, but then it shows you not to have that in. And the reason being is when you go to assemble this, they've actually pre-cauterized a hole through here. So when you set this on, you set it in, you line it up, and then you put that screw through there. Except for the problem is I put that on backwards. You got to put it with the bend going in, not out. So there we are, we got our bend going in. We're going to lift it up, set it in, pull it back. 5 more to go. So as you can see behind me, I managed to get it together mostly by myself. It is doable. Putting in these stakes, basically I got one in, I went every other around, similar to doing the springs. Getting these stakes in and having it line up top is the reason why you have to be so precise about where it is you start with putting your springs on at the 2 warning labels. I never realized that until after I got this up there, and that's why it's in the directions for this. This was a really good experience. Everything went together great. I really enjoyed how this went together. It seems strong. These come with a 3-year warranty on the frame. It comes with a 1-year warranty on everything else around it. And it is positioned underneath an oak tree. That's because during certain seasons I'm going to move it out into the center of the yard. So during fall I'll move it out into the center and get it out from under the tree. But during the summertime, cleaning up 1 or 2 acorns is no big deal. So there we go. Thanks for watching.
Alright, so just as another side demonstration, this is Mateo. He's around 5'9", 5'10", and as you can see, he fits pretty good. Plenty of open space, and we've had him bouncing around with the littler kids earlier. They don't hit too bad, but really it should just be big kids on one at a time.